Tons of marijuana, hundreds or thousands of pounds of heroin. Compared to those numbers, the 242 pounds of fentanyl seized so far this year by border agents in Arizona may seem trivial. But there's nothing trivial about the deadly punch of even a tiny amount of the drug, as Junious reports from our Washington bureau.
When Customs and Border Protection officers confiscated more than 250 pounds of the deadly drug fentanyl at Nogales last month, they seized in one fell swoop more than half of the fentanyl that had been confiscated in the state's preceding year.
In Arizona in 2018, DEA and our law enforcement partners had seized 445 pounds of fentanyl, which is roughly enough to kill 75 million people.
But is it really that deadly? Experts say absolutely. It's so dangerous, it has been used as a weapon.
I believe it was in Moscow, actually, back in maybe early 2000s. I'd have to double check the date. It was used as an aerosol.
DEA spokesman Melvin Patterson says there is enough in one shake of a salt or pepper shaker to kill.
We know that 2 milligrams for the average person that's not using any type of opioids, that would be a deadly or a lethal dose.
That is this much. Fentanyl is often mixed in with other opioids or pressed into a pill and passed as prescription. Clother says you can't tell the difference between street or legal with the naked eye.
The only way to find out is to test the drug, but even that requires extra safety measures.
That then is repackaged in additional external packaging, so that way when it crosses hands, it is an extra layer of protection.
Despite the dangers of fentanyl, Patterson says Americans have no one to blame but themselves for the problem.
We have to start listening to our officials, people with the FDA and HHS, that are saying these substances are very, very dangerous.
In Washington, Junious, Cronkite News.
As public safety officials across the country attempt to mitigate this fentanyl coming through the border, some medical officials say there are other contributing factors to this epidemic. Cronkite News reporter Bayan Wang spoke to the president-elect of the American Medical Association today. Bayan, how are medical professionals tackling this issue?
Yeah, I caught up with Dr. Patrice Harris, and one thing she made clear is that there isn't just one answer that would solve this epidemic. She said multiple factors play a part, including a patient's accessibility to proper medications like methadone, quality rehab centers, and insurance companies adjusting their prior authorization for vital medications. She says that's especially important for those struggling with addiction because they may not be able to wait for those proper medications and seek illegal options instead.
You call your insurance, or I may call your insurance, or I may refer you, and they say, no, we need you to fill out this form, and we may get back to you in 3-7 days. And that's just unacceptable, because for this epidemic, a delay in care could mean death.
Harris said the American Medical Association is working with several states, some of which have created statutes to adjust prior authorization policies in an effort to fight the opioid epidemic. Live in the broadcast center, Bayan Wang, Cronkite News.